Hey guys, my name is Julian and I'm going to be giving you guys a review on the book Friday Night Lights by H.G. Bissinger. This is a very interesting story that takes place in the time around 1988 in a small old town named Odessa in western Texas. In Odessa, the town's main focus is oil and football. Yes, only oil and football. The majority of the people in Odessa were white and often racist. This is why there were three schools in the Ector County at this time. Ector High School having a 90% minority rate, and yep, you guessed it, the other two schools, Odessa High and Permian, having a 90 through 99% of white students. However, Ector closed pretty soon. Now back to the story. This is about the journey of an extremely talented team, the Permian Panthers, on their mission of winning the Texas State Championship. Throughout the story, we learn about several characters such as Boobie Miles, an African American boy that had dreams of winning the top collegiate award, the Heisman Trophy, while overcoming the severe injury of his knee. Mike Winchell, the 2 year starting quarterback that fights his nerves and low confidence but still happens to show an effective performance, but with few mistakes. Gary Gaines, the intelligent football coach that has to constantly deal with pressures from the town and much more. And of course, many other characters to hear about. This has this team has had a successful season, becoming the most winningest team in the state of Texas. However, they have had lost a good amount of athletes due to the injuries and had to overcome much adversity throughout it all. After this season, Coach Gaines travels to meet the head coaches of Midland Lee and Midland High. They were there to decide who is going to continue with the playoffs by a coin toss. Permian and Midland Lee chose heads, while Midland High chose tails. The coin was flipped, and it landed on heads. So Permian and Midland Lee continue with the playoffs. So it's time. This is what the Permian Panthers were so hungry for. Permian had won 4 playoff games. Then they are in the semifinals against a well-known team, Dallas Carter. They were supposedly the best team and maybe even the best national team. Both teams step onto the field, and this is what they both have been waiting for. They are on the last step to a chance of playing the Texas State Championship. And okay, I'll leave it at that. I believe that the message of this story is that if you never give up and work your hardest, even if you are so small, such as the town of Odessa, you can accomplish something very big. H.G. Bissinger uses first person omniscient in his story. The way he writes is very easy to understand because it is written with very modern language. Here's an example from page 278. As he tried to console them, there came a sound of high school football as familiar as the cheering, as familiar as the unabashed blare of the band. It was the sound of the teenage boys weeping uncontrollably over a segment of their lives that they knew that just ended forever. As you can see here, the text is very easy to understand but yet very powerful with use of anaphora and imagery. I can personally connect to some of these players of the Permian Panthers, such as Mike Winchell because I play the same position as him, which is quarterback. I also get nervous just how he does, and I do sense some pressure. Also, Jared McDowell because he likes to practice several other times besides mandatory practice to better himself just how I like to when it is off season. Much of this still goes on today, but on an even higher scale. Unfair judgment undoubtedly still occurs in America. People still can succeed even from the bottom, according to street philosopher and poet Drake. He states that, started from the bottom, now we're here, and that supports my statement. And sadly, the last game of high school football for athletes are the very last for the majority. Although plenty of these athletes spend so much time and hard work into the sport they love, the majority one day has to call it the end and continue with their life after football. And it is what they make of it. After reading the story, I always wondered how modern day Odessa is, so this is what I researched. I have learned that hardly anyone likes the town of Odessa because of the reputation it has of being depressing, and it is in the middle of nowhere. Said by many that If Texas had an armpit, Odessa would be in it. The population from 1988 to now has grown 29,000. Also, Odessa has plenty of educational campuses now, such as Texas Tech University, Health Sciences Center, and 3 libraries and much more. And that's all for Odessa. I would absolutely recommend this book, even if you are not a fan of football. You will enjoy this book because it teaches about the history of the town of Odessa and Texas, how racism affected the town, and how much work these athletes put into the sport, but the outcome is not always what it was wanted to be. This is my review on Friday Night Lights by H.G. Bissinger. Thank you.